What's up, guys? So I kind of want to just talk about a different approach, or maybe give you some kind of framework or idea on how to troubleshoot hard issues. Um, let's just kind of go over, and the other thing I want to say too, actually, is this is really geared not just toward technology. So what the things I'm going to teach you can be applied to working on any difficult problems. But let's focus on technology. Let's say you accept a case and something's broken. And let's say you're really good at the tech. You know how to work with it really well. You start working on the case, you see the problem right in front of your face, and you say, oh, man, I've seen this problem thousands of times before. I know exactly what to do to address this issue. So let's say you maybe try to do all these different things to fix the problem, but you're not able to resolve the issue. This is referred to as a difficult case. And so maybe the case gets escalated. And now we maybe have multiple vendors are involved. And you have a lot of pressure coming at you from different angles that the problem needs to be resolved as soon as possible. So your level of stress is greatly increasing. And again, maybe the case has been escalated for weeks or even months, and the issue still isn't resolved. Other vendors are pointing the finger at other vendors, saying it's not our problem, it's their problem. These difficult cases we refer to as cases that defy resolution. So this is where a class comes into play that I used to teach. It's called evidence-based troubleshooting. And it teaches engineers a different approach to work on difficult cases. And again, the class does not focus on any given specific technology. It's a technology neutral class. So kind of the idea or the thesis behind the course is, when you're good at a technology, you might see a symptom and you might know all the different things you should do to fix it, the issue. You might say, oh, it's probably due to a misconfiguration, or I need to reconfigure this, or apply this workaround, or reset this, or upgrade this, or downgrade this, or replace this. What you're leveraging in those examples is something referred to as cause-based thinking. You're focusing on fixing the problem. You're trying all these little things to make the problem go away and hurry up and resolve the issue. Now, with easy cases, cause-based thinking can work. Okay, a lot of times it helps you quickly resolve the issue. You close the case, and boom, you move on to the next issues. But here's the thing, with difficult, complex cases, cause-based thinking, it's not going to cut it. And so the idea in this course is this is where a lot of troubleshooters struggle. They've tried everything they know to attempt to fix the issue. They're out of ideas. They have no idea what they should do next. And so there's a quote from the course that really resonates with me. A problem well stated is half solved. So I would say this statement is especially important when working on hard cases. Instead of focusing on fixing the problem, we need to focus on defining the actual problem. And in Cisco, we sometimes recall this our problem description or our problem statement. Now, I would kind of want to share a story with you guys. So I used to work in Cisco support, and I would see these cases that defy resolution. And sometimes these cases would be escalated, and they would be open for a long time, and there would be an immense amount of pressure to fix the problem. But all of a sudden, what would happen is everybody would have this aha moment where all of a sudden, it's like we see the light, we have this epiphany. Everything all of a sudden makes sense. And usually that happens when everybody fully understands the problem. Okay, maybe we get a packet capture or a log entry and we say, oh, we fully understand the problem. Everything makes sense. Now, we might not be able to fix the issue right away. Maybe it's a defect. Maybe it's a bug. But we fully understand the problem and we know exactly maybe what we have to do to address the problem. And suddenly all of the pressure we have greatly decreases. Our stress level greatly decreases. So going back to this quote, a problem well stated is half solved, I would say I actually probably somewhat disagree with this statement. I would probably change it to this quote. A problem well stated is 90% solved. And look at that pie chart right there. When we're working on problems, we need to focus on defining the problem and spend less time fixing it. And this is especially important when we're working on those cases that defy resolution. So the next time you're working on a difficult case, come back to this quote. Okay? It can give you this powerful paradigm shift you need to properly address the issue. You can focus on defining the actual problem. Now, how can you focus on the problem? I'm going to give you guys, I think, like 5 tips. Number 1, your problem statement should be very detailed with no vagueness. So examples of vague words would be like the network. No, we need more than the network. What network? Or the server. Okay, that's vague. The server's vague, or I should say it's a vague phrase. What server? We need way more information. So we need a very detailed problem statement with no vagueness. Remember, we're working on cases that defy resolution. Another tip. So when communicating with other people, so it could be the customer or colleague, but when you're communicating with other people working on the problem, use open questions. So if somebody tells you packets are being dropped, you can ask them an open question requires more than a yes or no response. So you might ask them an open question like, well, what do you mean by packets are being dropped? So again, that open question requires more than a yes or no response. So you're likely going to get much more useful information from the customer or your colleague. On the opposite side of that, don't ask closed questions. So if you ask a closed questions, those only require a yes or no response. So if I ask a closed question, I might say, oh, so you mean packets are getting dropped? They might just say yes. Okay, I don't learn a lot from their response, and I'm going to bias their response. I'm feeding them information. If they say yes, they're just maybe going to agree with my question. Now, tip number 3, our problem statement should be based on evidence, not based off of what people say. Now, you might say, that sounds like that conflicts with that last tip. We still need to get information from our colleagues and customers, but everything that they should say needs to be confirmed based off of evidence. So we could use logs or things that we see to confirm what other people are saying. Okay, so if somebody says packets are being dropped, we need to confirm this with actual evidence. And imagine if we don't confirm this. We just add packets are being dropped to the problem statement. All of a sudden, everybody who's troubleshooting the issue thinks packets are being dropped. They start troubleshooting an issue that doesn't even exist. Not good. Another tip, ask experts for help. Okay, remember, we're working on cases that defy resolution. You might work with other vendors, other people on your team, other people on your escalation team. Ask them for different outputs or logs or debugs and how you can capture those. If you can't decipher the output or the debugs, ask for help. Okay, there's also great online resources, although you obviously want to be careful when referencing online resources. But you can use online resources to also decipher outputs and to figure out which debugs to run. Again, it's okay to ask for help. We're working with cases that defy resolution. And then finally, one of the most important things, can you clearly articulate the problem to somebody else? Okay, if somebody else is technical, you should be able to clearly articulate the problem to them and they should clearly understand it. Now think about this. Think about if you're an engineer and you're working on a difficult case. You tried everything you can do to fix it, but you focused on writing a great problem statement. It's very precise, very detailed, has little vagueness. It's factual, it's based off of evidence. You can clearly articulate the problem to other people, but maybe you still can't resolve the issue. That's okay. You've done 90% of the work. You escalate that case or transfer it. Okay, again, the case description is going to be evidence-based. It's going to be detailed. You're going to make everyone else's job so much easier. You're going to be much less stressed. The customer is going to be less stressed. Everyone's going to be much less stressed. When you escalate that case, it's going to probably be obvious what has to be done to the people working on the case. Okay, so let me know if you want to learn more about this kind of stuff. I can actually go through like a troubleshooting session and show you how to focus on the actual problem, the problem statement, and focus less on the cause, leave me a comment and let me know if you're interested in this kind of stuff. That's all I got, man. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.